How to install a custom kernel on the Poco X3 Pro. Hey peeps, what's up? Munchie here, back with another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can install a custom kernel on the Poco X3 Pro. Now do note, I have the Poco X3 Pro running Miui 12.5.1 based on Android 11, and this right now is the global build. However, the process will work on the Indian variant of the Poco X3 Pro as well, and it will work even if you are on a custom ROM. Now, what are the prerequisites for this video? Well, you of course need to have an unlocked bootloader, and then you also need to have a custom recovery installed. Videos for those can be found in the description of this video, and I am using TWRP for the purpose of this video because that is the recovery I prefer to use because the interface is easy. However, feel free to use any other recovery which you want to. Now, another important thing to note over here is that the video is about how to install a custom kernel on your Poco X3 Pro, and I will also show you how to go back to the stock kernel in case you run into any issues. If you ask me if this and this kernel will work on X and X ROM, I do not have the answer for that. Why? Because it is not possible for me to try each and every combination out there. That should be a question for your custom kernel developer. Also, any issues which you have with the kernels need to be reported to the developers as well. And unfortunately, I also do not know which is the best gaming kernel for the Poco X3 Pro. So here it is. I do have the Poco X3 Pro running MIUI 12.5.1 based on Android 11. If I go into all specs, you will notice that the kernel right now is mentioned as perf. So this is your default kernel. The kernel which we are going to flash in this video is the Cylon T kernel. So next thing we need to do is we need to boot into our custom recovery. For starters, turn off your device, and once the device is turned off, press and hold volume up and power button at the same time till you see your custom recovery logo. So here it is, we are booting into TeamWin or TWRP recovery. Do note it might take some time for the recovery to boot. So here it is, we have booted. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to back up our existing kernel. So we will go into backup, and herein you need to select boot and DTBO. So these are the two partitions which you need to select, boot and DTBO, and then swipe to backup. Now once the backup process has finished successfully, we will tap on the home button. Now where is this backup? If you go into advanced file manager, and this here is the root directory. So if I go into SD card, which is my internal storage, herein if you go into TWRP backups, the name, and this is the time and the date. So this here is our backup of boot and DTBO. Next up, we will tap on the home button, go into install. Now you need to navigate to the folder where you have downloaded all the files. In case you downloaded the kernel file on your phone directly, it will be in SD card, and herein I should have a folder called download. So here it is, the Silent T kernel initial release for the X3 Pro. So just select the file and then swipe to confirm flash. Now once the process has finished successfully, an important thing to note is that if your device was rooted, then most kernels have checks to detect that, and they will also reflash Magisk. So your device will still be rooted. If your device was not rooted, then it won't root it. Again, if your device was rooted, root will stay. If your device was not rooted, then it will stay unrooted. Next up, all you need to do is select wipe, cache and Dalvik, and then swipe to wipe. Once that is done, reboot system. And there it is, we have successfully booted back into MIUI. Let us go into settings, about phone, all specs, and kernel. Here it is. We are now running a custom kernel on our Poco X3 Pro. Now do note, any issues which you have with the kernel, any bugs need to be reported to the kernel developer. Next thing, how do you go back to your stock kernel in case you want to? So again, boot into TWRP first or your custom recovery, turn off your device, press and hold volume up and power button at the same time till you see your custom recovery logo. So we have booted into our custom recovery, swipe to unlock. Going back to stock kernel, as easy as restoring the backup which we had taken. So we will go into restore and herein select the folder where we have the backup. So of course you will have to remember the date and the time when you took the backup. Select this. Boot and DTBO are selected by default because those are the partitions which we had backed up, and those are the partitions or the backups which are present inside this specific folder. So just swipe to restore. Once that is done, tap on the home button, go into wipe, advanced wipe, select Dalvik and cache. That's it, select Dalvik and cache and then swipe to wipe, and once the process has finished, reboot system. Back into Miui, we can of course unlock our device, go into settings, about phone, go into all specs, and here it is. The kernel version is back to perf kernel, which means we are back on the stock kernel. And there it is, peeps. That is how you install a custom kernel on your Poco X3 Pro and go back to the stock kernel in case you run into any issues. And that will do it for this video. Hope my video helped you. Likes, shares and subscribes are appreciated. Feedback and comment more than welcome. See you when I see you.